Yo, 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 everybody. All right. This is the just kind of catch up that I like to do, usually somewhere around the end of the week, on pieces that I've received during the week. I got a lot of good stuff on the way. But let's talk about some new pieces here. So first I want to talk about is this gal. I think they call it like the rich coin push or something odd like that. You can see it's little track slider, so it's got a ball and track slider rather. So you take 4 steel or Teflon balls, you put that in there, and then you can go up and down, right? Similar to the pig slider that has the ball and track, although this one does not have the pin to hold it in. So just a 4 magnet up and down. This thing is addicting for some reason. Sometimes I get caught up on odd things. This one I bought because it was $5 on AliExpress. And I thought, okay, why the hell not? If nothing else, it's something that the kids will probably enjoy. And I do like the color of it. They did a lot in this luminous blue color, which was confusing on the posting of it, because a lot of times they say luminous, but all that really means is that, you know, they show pictures where they're shining a light through it and it looks transparent and luminous, but that doesn't necessarily mean glow in the dark. So that kind of had me curious about this. I was like, is it actually glow in the dark or not? And we're going to show really quick that, in fact, it is glow in the dark. And actually a really good glow, too. I was quite surprised. And it really has the same glow. You remember old Timex watches and the back plate of it? And you could push the button on the side and your watch would light up. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but it's the exact same look, really. And so right out of the gate, I thought that's pretty cool. It's got kind of a nostalgic factor to it. It almost looks kind of like when you add noise into picture, which is just like a grain. That's exactly how the Timex watch used to look. Anyway, so I always love when there's like a tie-in, some sort of nostalgic factor, which is why Jason's current run on some kind of old game controllers and stuff like that is really hitting the spot for me. But so anyway, it's got really strong magnets, but more than anything, you can go up and pivot off that last magnet. And I don't know. I mean, for $5 and a really good glow in the dark. Not to mention that you can add those balls and it gives this really kind of jolting haptic feeling. So I don't know. It's good. I think this is worth, hell, I might have even paid 10 for it. I am excited because Mel is going to send me an owl that will match this. And I think it's also a glow-in-the-dark luminous version. So that'll be kind of cool to have the pair of those. I think it's just the owl and this that maybe come in this, but if I'm correct, they are still on sale. So if you want to give it a shot, I'd hop on AliExpress. It's essentially the same size as a bubble. So, cool. That is that. Next. So the Mermaid Reborn was one that my 15-year-old, well, almost 15-year-old, fell in love with when I was out visiting him in Seattle. And I had to let him have it because he had not had a mechanical slider yet. So he was able to take the Mermaid Reborn, the Brownie, WJ Brownie, and the Chenyu Guardian. So a couple of those I was really into. So I had to kind of get back. Now, this one is just as good as the titanium. This one is in Zerk. It's got a shine to it where the titanium one had a kind of sandblasted look. But I do want to shout out to Jesse for hooking me up. But really quick, if you can bear with me, and I'm not going to do the oh, did I bring the wrong? Now you really have to bear with me because I've got to run and grab a different tool. And just like that, I'm back. Okay, so here's the thing about 42 Cosmo. I like them, but the quality control is maybe not there. And here's why I say that. Number one, I have the lightning slider coming. And by all accounts, it's, well, when you see a product release and immediately it's being sold in mass on the marketplace on Facebook, that's a bit of a red flag. If it's a really good product, people are going to hold on to it, obviously. Now look, this had inserts, but I never saw anybody get anything but this one. The one Jesse sent me came with a slider insert, so we're going to look at that really quick. But a lot of issues people are having with the screws and kind of the pivotal center screw on the lightning slider is an issue right now. So a lot of people are having to get their Loctite out. But on top of that, 42 Cosmo, it's like they use whatever they've got laying around or something for their hardware. So you'll get screws where I'm positive that I'm going to need a T8, when in reality, I need a T6. You know what I'm saying? It's unreal. I actually got one that had screws that needed a T6, and the other side of the slider needed T8. So I don't know if they made a change just randomly or grabbed out of the wrong bin or what, but let's check this out. Around the World, that's my fave. It's actually really good, and the way I can describe the sound, and a lot of times I think this is kind of typical for Teflon. It's like a clomp, clomp, clomp sound. So Sounds real echoey in here. But anyway, this slider is not half bad. I will say, like, ergonomically, this top plate doesn't totally make sense, because if you were to utilize it, you'd be pressing down in the middle of the slider and pushing it up, which is how people who have never held a slider before operate a slider, I feel like. Generally, you're pushing from the bottom, which is why designs like the Toad and the Peak work so well, because it's got that spot right there so you can hold the slider and be able to get your tricks and everything. This is like, I don't know. That's literally every holiday my brother comes home and he'll take it and be like, I don't understand why you're doing this with these toys. It's like, well, even though I showed you, you're still not using it right, brother. So that's a pretty nice surprise to see that there is an actually pretty good slider in this. There were like 6 different inserts. So there was this one, there was the slider Teflon plates, there was a ball and track kind of design, and I never saw anything but this. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to show you what other capabilities the Mermaid Reborn had. There it is, 42 Cosmo. And this is in collaboration with this GD EDC. So you can see it's both their names there in kind of a spray paint. What's that called? Oh my God. Graffiti. Holy cow. Yeah. It's been a long week. Been watching a lot of not Love Actually. See what I'm saying? Love is Blind. Just trash TV. And it goes until midnight, you know? Anyway. Cool. Just talking nonsense. This is the Clown Orange Biscuit. I think they're called biscuits. But this is a G10 material, which is like a plastic. And this one is in the color Jade. I had an Ultim one that I sold. That was like polished Ultim, and not big on polished Ultim anymore. It scratches pretty easily. You get a lot of wear on the surface. I'd really rather have, and I'm seeing it a lot more, is kind of a blasted Ultim or Pi. That, and those are the same thing, by the way. Where it's kind of sandblasted, so it's got this kind of matte coating on it. This one's interesting though. It's almost got a pattern in the plate. If you can see that, just really super subtle. It almost looks like if you had silly putty or something and you just laid like a little piece of linen over it momentarily, and you get this just little very subtle imprint. So yeah, let's talk about this guy. Number one, I love it. I think their square sliders are phenomenal. The stainless steel plates with this kind of square pattern kind of radiating out from the center all the way to the edge gives you that kind of scratch on the plates, just like the Ox. And their plates, when they come and they're fresh, Shout out Mark Chang from Play for Beans for sending me a fresh set of plates for my ox. When this showed up, it was no different. Their plates are like, right out of the box, they're a dream because they're just super smooth, just buttery smooth, and really crisp sounding. The only issue that I've had with this guy is that pretty immediately I change out the magnets on these sliders because I like a little looser feel for easier play. Otherwise, you're kind of like, it's very rigid because the magnets are strong. So I set it up in like a hybrid fashion. But I took the plates off, screwed them back in, and I don't know which one it is, but one of these puppies just kept spinning. And so first magnet change out of the box, and one of the threads is already done for. So the screw is holding in there. I put a little Loctite in and screwed it into nothing, I guess. And you can't really tell, I guess, right now. I took it off after, cleaned out some of the excess, and then put it back in really quick so that it would dry. But I'm worried that the magnets are gonna be pulling that up into the other plate and scratching it, and I'm gonna get some kind of like, and then have a big gouge in the plates. So far not happening. And I don't have the magnets perfectly dialed in yet because that's happening. Where I had the Ultim one perfectly dialed in, so I had this like bam, 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 crisp action, and I have to find a way to pop it over and stop it right there. So anyway, that is the G10 Jade. I got that off of Big White EDC. So a bit of a bummer about that, but I don't really plan on messing with it too much more. I think it's pretty good. I just used it a little slower and not as aggressive maybe as the Ox. Moving on, I've talked too fucking much. This is my tie, blackened and blasted tie body for my top D dough stick. Gavin Sexton did this for me and blackened it. Really awesome look that it brought to the titanium one, which mine was super faded, so the blue was just rubbed off in all the spots. I used this thing to death. This is installed though with the new plate, and this plate set just came out. It was like $55, and what's different is this came on the superconductor top D, and so it was unique to that one. They just released it now as its own standalone plate set that you can buy and put on your other top Ds. But what makes it different is it has this little ball path right here, so that when you get to an end, and I don't know if you can hear it even. You get clicks on the rotation too. Ooh. So I'm not sure if you can hear that. Here's what I'm going to say though. It is subtle, but this is the best plate set that they've released. Out of the sound, on just the up and down, it's easily the best. So I can kind of forgive how subtle that is. But when I go to use the regular one, like the Zerk one, where it's the same zipper pattern, but without this, it feels like it's missing something. So this is a must. I do wonder if they could ever release it so it was there and there, huh? Because then when you get to the top, you get the haptic feedback from this ball moving across that top little semicircle, but also the haptic from the bottom ball, because there are two. So then you'd get it right there too. And I think that would improve the ability to hear or get more feedback from that. Let me try really quick, because it also, sometimes if you open it up, you will find that the middle kind of pivot point screw is a little loose. So you just pop that off. No, there's no turn to that. That is it. Oh, you know what though? Yeah. Okay. It's the other way. So the other thing that I do with these a lot is open them up and mess around with the tension of these springs. I just remembered that I was not talking to myself, but talking to you guys, and I needed to put this in frame here. So one of the cool things that that Metal Toys does is they use these conical springs. So you can see here, let's get a nice zoomed version here. You see that? How it's small at the top and gets wider as it goes down. Now the way that makes a difference is when I put this in here, if I put it small side down, when I close this, this base is going to press up against here and create more pressure on the ball, meaning it's putting more pressure on the track, which means you get more sound and a little bit harder push. If you turn it over and you let that open part kind of hug the ball bearing a little bit, then you're going to get less resistance when you close this, because this spring is further inset in there. So when you close it back up, you'll get this kind of loose, what's happening here? You'll get a really loose play. And sometimes that's good, especially with the Zerk version of this. I found that that one has excellent sound when you make it a little looser. Now the other thing I've started doing that I'm sure drives some people nuts, but sometimes for the purpose of the Fidget, I'm running it without the covering. So it usually comes with this plastic sticker cover that you can put on there. But my thought was, if I keep that on there, that is more space between the ball and this, meaning less sound. So I want that ball to be able to get as close to the adjacent plate as possible. So that is the new Top D plate set, and it has totally refreshed my plates. I bought a stainless steel Top D2 and moved my plates that were in my titanium one over to that, and it's like I've got all new Top Ds. So a little plate refresh can go a long way. Otherwise, bam, we took shit apart. great day. Don't usually do that in my videos. Thanks for sticking with me while I had to go grab a new tool. That's my new shit. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.